Hello everyone, just making this quick video just to document some of the work that I did on the 1990 GL1500 that I purchased. I believe this was back in 2023 or early 2024. Yeah, I think it was 2023, and I kept it for about a year and a half. And I recently sold it now in December. So I purchased this bike for about $250. So it was sitting for quite a few years. It was sitting outside, not covered. As you can see, like mold was starting to build to form on the actual seat. It was missing some side covers. So the owner originally had them, but they were just misplaced. It was also missing some spark plugs, so it still had the boots of the ignition coils, but it was missing like 3 spark plugs, and it did have some rust in the cylinder itself. So I'll go through them as I go through this video. So I did put this on a trailer. I just rented something from like Home Depot, and you can see like the mold that's starting to form on the seat, and it was just sitting for such a long time and it was in bad shape. You can see the front windshield, you can't even see through. It's just faded completely. It's fuzzy. This is my old motorcycle. I put some bags on the side, like luggage bags, and it was pretty cool. I used it for some time. It was an interesting bike. It was pretty fast too, so yeah. Just moving back to this. So one of the problems with this bike was that the person who sold it to me didn't really have the key. So he was sitting for a long time. He did not have a key. He was sitting outside, not covered. So one of the first things that I did is that I pulled this, and this is the actual, let me see if I can find it. It's from the cover of the gas cap, so it's right here. So this gas cap that holds it's the compartment basically where the gas cap is locked with this. So I just pulled that out, used like a plastic pry bar to open this lid, and then pull that cylinder out. And that cylinder has a code. Just took it to the local smith shop and then keysmith, and then they basically made me a new key, and it started working fine. This bike had about 38,253 miles, and I started taking some pictures of the inside of the cylinder. As you can see here, it did have some rust. I did rebuild the clutch master cylinder and the bottom cylinder that goes into the clutch, because this bike has an hydraulic clutch. I think I made a separate video on this, how I cleaned this, because the whole fluid was like crystallized, and I flushed it out, cleaned it, and replaced it with new fluid. I think it had a .3 fluid, the same as the brakes. The person who owned this bike had a bunch of extra stuff. This was like a detector, I think, theft detector. He had like a police detector too in the right compartment. This is all like what the wiring was. So I just removed all that wiring. This was how dirty the bike was after removing the seat. So I did ride the bike to my local washing shop for like cleaning it and spraying some air. I have a video, I think, here where I'm kind of spraying air around the bike to clean it and remove like the loose particles and remove like any leaves or dirt. These are the pictures of the spark plugs. As you can see, they were really rusted because moisture got in there. The cylinder walls were also had some surface rust. I did put like a teaspoon of oil in there, and then took some pictures inside to make sure it was good, and then just fired it up. You can see so much smoke that comes out in the beginning because it's burning that oil that I put in the spark plugs as well, but it's also been sitting for a long time, so put some audio here as you can hear. But yeah, a lot of work to get this done. Got it to run, and I took it to the shop. Not the shop, I mean the washing place where I had to clean it and spray it and all that. Took some pictures at night as it was running. It has a lot of lights, and the lights were working correctly, so that was good. Tried to research a cassette to put like a Bluetooth thing, but my cassette thing was not working properly. The rear brakes and how I took them out, I think I have a separate video on my channel that shows how I took the rear master cylinder, cleaned it up. I had a problem with the radio as well, so I was not getting enough volume, and a bunch of people told me that it might be the mute button. As I was testing the mute button on the handlebar, it was working properly. I added an additional ground, but that was not my problem, so I ended up just putting an amplifier, and that worked correctly. These are just pictures of what people did in the past and how they handled this is a new windshield actually, but it's kind of tinted. What I ended up doing with mine is I did something similar, but I cut my windshield halfway, make it short, look more like a sporty look, and then painted it all black. There is separate videos for these when I remove the actual rear master cylinder. I had like space for a radar detector that was here on the right side. I was taking pictures because I didn't have like the rear pocket cover, the backrest. I had so much wire in the actual front compartments. This is where the radar detector goes. I think this is the other side where the fader for the music goes, and the anti-theft type of thing that he had there. So he had a lot of wiring. He had this old ambient temperature measure and battery voltage measure, which I removed and replaced with a new one. This is the radio itself when I took it apart. Try to clean everything on the bike and remove the extra wiring. The back part, this is the air filter when I removed it, which I was surprised that it was that dirty. It was crazy inside, so it was a rat's nest, and I was surprised how the bike even ran for the couple miles that I took it to the washing and cleaning place. But yeah, it was pretty bad. This is the actual filter. It was completely coming apart. As you can see, it was sitting for a very long time. The carburetors were in good shape, so I didn't really have to clean those. They look clean. Maybe the previous owner kind of drained them before, so I just ended up spraying some carb cleaner and then just ran it. I did have problems with the radio, as I mentioned, so I took it apart and looked for like any problems where cable might have been missed or the ground might have been wrong, so I just checked all that. I had an option to send it out and have it repaired, but that was too expensive and I kind of did not choose to do that. This is the additional grounding cable that I put, the brown cable that goes to the frame from the mute switch. I think it was the blue one in my case, but yeah, that turned out not to be my problem, so that's why I ended up adding a amplifier. This is on the side, so I cleaned a lot of the wiring that goes on the above the fan, basically on the right side. It was really dirty. Like I said, there was like a mouse nest in there, so I used like the electric cleaner spray to clean them out and remove the air duct as well, remove the fan because it was right above the fan. So I had to unplug it and remove the fan and the air duct as well from the top behind the CB radio to get access to that large connectors, the electrical connectors, these ones that are shown here. Yeah, other than that, a lot of cleaning, looked up the manuals, did a lot of research online on Facebook. This is what the bike looked like without the windshield, as I got access to like the turn signals and removed everything.